So the mission of Clackamas Community College is to serve the people of the college district with high-quality education and training opportunities that are accessible to all students. Throughout this morning's presentation, I'm going to share data, pictures, facts about the college. But the reason we're all here is because of the students. Every day, our staff and faculty work to welcome and support students to help them succeed, no matter their goal. So the best way I think to talk about CCC is to share some of these students' stories with you. And these are just a handful of examples of how CCC transforms lives and impacts our community every day. Oops, not to go. And I'm sure with this live Google Translate, there's going to be some interesting things come up. So I'll just apologize ahead of time. That I'm who? You are Allah. Allah. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. Thanks, Adam. Okay. So this is a quick overview of who we are. I think many of you know this. The one slide on here, or the one bullet point on here that we always like to mention is we serve all students. Last year, our youngest graduate was 15 and our oldest was 71. So when we say that we really welcome everyone, we really mean it. And so you'll see a few other stats that we have on there as we get a little bit further in. But I want to talk about our students. So meet Israel. Israel's a first-generation college student and a Marine Corps veteran. Today, he's a quality control supervisor at Vigor Work Industrial. I also want to point out, if you haven't seen this yet, he and his son are both wearing bow ties, so they're already two of my favorite people. That's not why he's here. Because of our flexible classes, Israel is able to attend evening courses so he could stay home with their baby daughter while his wife worked during the day. He said, being part of my family's first generation born and raised in this country and the first to attend and graduate college, there was a sense of pride and pressure. Being a Marine Corps combat veteran with multiple tours was a hard transition back to day-to-day life when just a year prior I was overseas serving in the infantry. The instructors and staff were more than helpful and accommodating when I had to be at appointments at the VA hospital for service-connected injuries, as well as assisting and navigating with the financial aid processes. I constantly refer people to pursue programs of further education in the trades like those offered at CCC. Without CCC's 2-year degree program, I would never have had the opportunity to show my technical ability that led me to my current career in quality control. I've traveled the country as far as Alaska, to Ohio, and states in between, working on with major corporate companies leading in our national defense systems. So I want to recognize Israel, and I want to recognize then that we have a number of veterans here. Last count, we serve a little over 600 veterans here at the college, and then even beyond that with their families. We're really proud of that. We again received a national distinction from Military Times as one of the top schools in the country for serving veterans. So we're really proud of that fact, and at this time I'd like to recognize all the veterans in here. Would you please stand? Thank you all very much for your service to this country. At Clackamas, we strive to meet the community's ever-changing needs. We grow and adapt as technology changes, business needs change, and as our demographics change. We work to offer the classes students need at times to meet their schedule, including offering classes online, at night, and on the weekend. Here's just a look at some of the examples of how we offer responsive education. We recognize a growing number of Clackamas County is Spanish-speaking. Currently, about 10% of our students at CCC identify as Latinx. The percentage of Latinx students, though, in K-12 is a little more than 20%. So we know that our community is changing, and we're working to be responsive, equitable, and accessible for all of these students. We believe in meeting students where they are academically, giving them the supports and scaffolds they need to succeed. As such, we're identifying new ways to provide courses and programs in Spanish. For example, our Small Business Center offers contract courses in both English and Spanish. In fact, SBDC has increased the pass rate of their Spanish-speaking exam for the Oregon Construction Contractors Board from 30 to 75%. Our horticulture department offers workshop in Spanish, and last year offered the first integrated program that combined English as a second language and water water flow backtesting for Spanish speakers. A great example of responsive education is our early childhood education program. They now offer courses in Spanish to meet the needs of Spanish-speaking early childhood providers who might not otherwise have opportunities to take college courses due to language barriers. We began offering these courses in Spanish a couple of years ago at the request of our early learning partner organizations to support Spanish-speaking early childhood workforce. As the state has increased funding, standards and accountability for early learning programs, the need to educate and professionalize the field has simultaneously increased. We've now delivered 7 early childhood education courses in Spanish and have 2 more planned for this year. We partnered with local early learning hubs, which receive state funding to offer these courses on site and on Saturdays to make them as accessible as possible to the Spanish-speaking providers. The state of Oregon has rapidly increased investment in career and technical education since 2015. However, in 2015, we were also alerted to an impending career technical education teacher shortage. A perfect storm of demographics, shifting priorities, and lack of attention was driving the shortage. If we don't have CTE teachers, we can't have CTE programs. Reinvestment in CTE is great. However, without teachers to teach, it's hard to make any progress on this reinvestment. The problem is, how do you convince an experienced expert to drop out of a lucrative career and become a CTE teacher and then train and support that teacher at a time when there were limited CTE teacher preparation options? At Clackamas, our solution was twofold. First, we took advantage of new rules at the Teacher Standards and Practices Commission, which allow community colleges to provide CTE licensure preparation. And in doing so, became the first community college in Oregon to have an approved CTE teacher prep program. Additionally, Clackamas created a CTE teacher apprentice program, which is the first of its kind in the state, approved by the Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industries, BOLI. Rather than throwing the industry experts straight into the classroom, what did it come out as, BOLI? Yeah. I suspected. That's why I don't even want to look. Okay. Rather than throwing the industry experts straight into the classroom without any training or support, our program allows CTE instructor apprentices to have master teacher supervision, receive a journeyman wage, and complete structured work processes as well as the required related instruction. We work closely with our community partners on our advisory committees to serve the needs of our local school districts. But we've also committed to providing this program in a fully online format to serve the needs of our partners throughout the state, especially our rural partners, where it's more difficult to access CTE teacher prep programs. Clackamas instructors in the CTE licensure and apprentice programs also present and participate in national conferences related to this critical need. CCC is on the forefront of addressing this national, state, and local issue. Well done. Another way we provide responsive education is to partner with our universities. One example is our partnership with Portland State University and its Build Exito program. BUILD is an acronym for Building Infrastructure Leading to Diversity. Exito for Enhancing Cross-Disciplinary Infrastructure and Training in Oregon. This is an undergraduate research training program that supports students on their path to becoming scientific researchers. Build Exito identifies students early in their college career and engages them in finding solutions to today's major health problems. Upon transfer to PSU, CCC Exito scholars get opportunities for hands-on research experiences with PSU and OHSU faculty. Exito provides students with the scientific skills and understanding they need to pursue careers in a variety of biomedical fields, including psychology, chemistry, biology, social work, and many more. We work to create an environment where students can experience a sense of belonging, develop their identity as scientists as they pursue research that will help them make the world a more just and equitable space. In the last 5 years, we've had nearly 30 Build Exito scholars from CCC transfer to Portland State. This program will be able to continue for another 5 years thanks to a grant from the National Institutes of Health. Our motto is education that works, and we take that message seriously. We take great pride in getting our students to the finish line and helping them achieve their dreams. Our medical assistant program is a prime example of education that works. From 2013 to 2017, 100% of our medical assistant graduates passed the Certified Medical Assistant exam. Of those students, 94.37% were placed in jobs in the field. That one person was not placed because they decided to have a baby. So we also kind of track our students, if you didn't know. So we let that one slide. Of those placed, 100% of their employers report satisfaction with their work. Again, last year, 100% of our 2019 class of medical assistant graduates passed the certified medical assistant exam, and they all got medical assisting jobs after graduation. Those of you working in the health sciences with our medical assistant students deserve a round of applause for your role in the success of our students. Despite the intense curriculum, our students are excelling in their profession. Employers are scrambling for our graduates, and past graduates have shared that our program has been instrumental in their preparation to pursue careers as a physician's assistant. Oh, and by the way, it's not just our MAs that have a 100% pass rate. Our nurses do too. One of the highest in the state for the last several years for all 2- and 4-year colleges in Oregon. Speaking of our nurses, here's a highlight of one of our former nursing students. Meet Megan. Megan came to CCC to take post-baccalaureate classes to prepare for nursing school. She's a first-generation college student from a small rural town, and she had to overcome the lack of knowledge of how to get into college, pay for college, and as she said, survive college. She graduated in 2013. Today she's an assistant nurse manager. Megan told us that CCC gave me cost-effective courses for preparation into a bachelor's prepared nursing degree with caring and dedicated instructors. She also liked the variety and quality of extracurricular activities that CCC offers. She said, I could study self-defense, learn Zumba, take a break from the tough A&P and microbiology courses. Also, the photo we have here of Megan happens to be that she was chosen as a shining example for the National Nurses Week campaign. So this is a national campaign that she got highlighted in as well. Another example of how we provide responsive education is through our High School Connections program, which offers college credit programs designed for high school students, which we currently partner with over 40 high schools. High school students can earn college credit for free or at a highly discounted rate by taking specific courses at their high school or here on our CCC campus. This, in fact, has been such a popular program that currently about 20% of all of our full-time enrollment is made up of high school students. 2 years ago, we had 3,595 students participate in advanced college credit, earning 34,244 credits and saving a little over $3 million. Last year, that number went up to 4,398 students. I think the stats up there with 45,303 credits and earning well over $3 million on that, or saving well over $3 million as well in college costs. But I want to stress, and I say this quite often, it's not just about the money saved. We know, and research is really clear, that if high school students take even one and finish even one college class, far more likely to graduate from high school and far more likely to enroll and complete college. So these are important for saving money and getting that head start, but it's really important so that we achieve our educational goals as a state as well. So thank you to our K-12 partners. I believe we have Tim Behrens from Colton. I'm not sure if I met Tim. Yeah, thank you. Good to see you, Tim. Thank you for being here, and thanks for that partnership. Martha's from Oregon City. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Betty, from Oregon City as well. In 2014, the community of Clackamas County showed its support of Clackamas Community College by passing a $90 million bond measure. The state and our legislators also showed its dedication to the college by providing an additional $32 million in match funding for our bond projects. Thanks to this support, the college is able to offer state-of-the-art education in modern facilities. So I want to thank all of you who worked on that bond and supported that bond. I particularly want to thank the legislators for supporting us as well and making sure that we could even go that much further with stretching those dollars and having really state-of-the-art facilities. So we're coming to the end, and I wanted to show, or the end of the bond projects, and I wanted to show you what we've done in the last 5 years and in what's on tap this next year. Harmony West in Milwaukie was our first completed project and opened in the winter of 2018. This building allows us to continue to grow our health science, our workforce development, and general education offerings at our Harmony campus in Milwaukie. Students are now able to start and complete a number of our degrees just at this location, including criminal justice and corrections. Harmony West replaced the 61-year-old OIT Dale Ickes Junior High building that previously sat in that location. Here's a look inside Harmony West. On the left side is the lobby, really nice, open, bright seating area for students to meet and study. We also have a bookstore location right there as you first walk into that building. On the right side, it's highlighting one of our labs. I believe that's on the 3rd floor. I'm not exactly sure. Previously, students had to go to Oregon City campus to take all of their science requirements, but now they can do all of them at the Harmony campus, removing those obstacles for those who do not have regular transportation. 2018, we also opened the doors to our new Industrial Technology Center, which houses our renewable energy and industrial technology programs. This 44,000 square foot building increases teaching, training, and partner space, as well as creating flexibility to meet the changing training needs of our regional partnership programs. Here's a look inside, and you'll see on the left is a student working with one of our computer numerical control machines. On the top right, you've got a picture of the manual machining area, and on the bottom right is our renewable energy technology lab, which also has an exterior workspace as well, where they can work on solar and a number of other renewable energy factors. Building also has a flex lab containing a number of robotics and trainers. I think we've got one of those robots out here today. Some high bay shop spaces are connected to classrooms and informal learning areas. This year, we're going to start launching classes for community use of our maker space, so members of the community can start taking advantage of the technology in this building. Because the manufacturing programs were moved out of Barlow Hall to the new Industrial Technology Center, we were able to double the size of our automotive program. Last summer, we renovated and expanded the space in Barlow Hall for both the automotive service and collision programs. And we're going to have a grand opening for that space coming up at the end of this month. And this is an invite for all of you that would like to attend that as well. Really, again, not just doubling the space, but really opening those up, making those really bright, open spaces for student learning. And then just this fall, we opened the doors to the expansion of our main science building, Desjardins Hall, modernizing and increasing our lab space. Before this expansion, we had a backlog of students waiting to take their prerequisite science courses. We simply did not have the number of labs to meet student demand. This building has a lot of science on display, both inside and out. One of the exterior walls, if you haven't seen it, features the DNA pattern of a cougar, which is our mascot. Embedded in the sidewalk outside the building is a geological time walk. And inside there's a replica of a beluga whale skeleton suspended from the ceiling, along with some other displays throughout the building. Inside, as you walk in, we've got a large penicillin molecule suspended in the front entry. You can see in the back there. The sculpture was designed and fabricated and donated by our longtime CCC partner, Miles Fiberglass. And on the right is one of our labs in action. And also as part of the Desjardins project, this summer we created a new transit center to improve access to the college and support job development in Clackamas County. This project was funded through an additional $1.75 million grant from the Oregon Department of Transportation. And then the last building in our bond projects is our new Student Services Center. Our current Bill Broad Community Center is outdated and cramped, leaving little space providing access to multiple services, programs, and opportunities for students to connect to staff and each other. Students must travel between buildings across campus to access student and academic services. And we know this is not good, and we actually call it pinging, when you get pinged around from one building to the next. We know that the more students get pinged from one building to the next, the less likely they are to successfully enroll and complete the college or complete their degrees. Our new Student Services Center will allow CCC to co-locate critical support services and provide spaces for students to connect. Research indicates the more students have an opportunity to stay on campus during the day, and whether it's studying or interacting with others, the more likely they are going to be retained and complete their classes and degree programs. So this building is really going to help with that work, in addition to being really what we're calling the front door of our campus. So as you come up in the transit center off of 213, the goal is that you will see this light, bright space, and that will draw students right into the college. Here's some renditions of what the first and the second floor will look like. So the first floor, the idea is you see that big welcome sign will draw people right in and have a place to start. And on that first floor, we're going to hold our house our advising, our registration and enrollment services, an information and welcome desk, a financial aid resource lab, and what we're calling right now anyway a one place where students can come and they can be there, and then somebody from advising or registration or financial aid will come to them depending on what they need, so they don't have to get moved all around. They can come and we can help them where they are. On the second floor, we'll house our education partnerships, our testing and placement center, our financial aid. We'll have some space for community-based organizations and our counseling department. In addition, the Bill Broad, the existing community center, is going to get a refresh as part of this project. And so in that building, which will be connected, and actually you can't really see, but to the very right in that first floor, that wood there is, on the side there, connects to the existing Bill Broad. They'll punch through the wall there so students can go right through. There's going to be admissions and recruitment, our Disability Resource Center, our Veterans Resource Center, space for student collaboration and study, student clubs, a student services classroom, career center, multicultural center, student government, our Cougar Cave food pantry, which will be expanded, and our Cougar Cafe, our cafeteria. We will break ground on this this spring and plan to be open for business fall of 2021. So look for invites for that as well. Actually, let me go back. Other facility upgrades included in the bond funding include seismic upgrades to a number of our buildings, roof replacements, site signage, water system upgrades, a new practice room for our national championship wrestling team, and you may have noticed as you drove in, repaving of the Douglas Loop. That seems to be the most popular as people now are not losing their alignment on their cars driving in. We look forward to celebrating the completion of this bond with the community in 2021, and as we close out these projects, we'll continue to assess how we can continue to adapt and serve our students, business, and the community. So one of the things I wanted to highlight about these bond projects, when they started, our Board of Education wanted to ensure two things: student involvement in the projects, as well as making sure we're employing as many local and minority subcontractors as possible. So they came up with this acronym called Sailboat. And you see we like acronyms here at Clackamas. We tend to put them on everything. But so let me explain what these are. The goal of Sailboat is to encourage architects, contractors, subcontractors, bond project team members to involve CCC students, Clackamas County businesses, and a diverse workforce, including minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses, as well as our emerging small businesses. SAIL stands for Student Applied Integrated Learning. The goal is to get 1,000 hours or more of student workforce participation in the bond projects. So not only does SAIL involve students in the construction and professional contract work, but they're getting hands-on experience. And this program has fostered and built connections with business and industry. So we have students that are visiting the sites, the students that are working with the architects, we have interns that are involved, just a number of different ways that students are involved with these. In fact, to date, all of our former interns have now landed jobs with the companies that they've interned with as part of this project. And as you can see, we far exceeded the 1,000 hours, and we still have a whole other building to do. So that number is only going to go up. BOAT stands for Business Opportunities Achievement Target. And the goal is to encourage bond project employment opportunities equally across Clackamas County to residents and minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses, as well as emerging small businesses. The purpose of this program is to create opportunities, encourage contractors and subcontractors to hire these businesses for their work. Our goal for workforce equity and diversity is 10%. We're currently at 26%, having hired 49 contractors who qualify under our BOAT criteria, totaling more than $12.7 million of work here locally. Meet Jolynn. Jolynn dropped out of high school when she was 16 after meeting her significant other and becoming a stay-at-home mom. After staying home with her kids for 15 years, self-doubt started to creep in as to what she would do with her life. She came to CCC to support a friend who was going back to school for her GED. Somehow, Jolynn got talked into taking the placement test along with her friend and placed high enough to enroll in our GED prep classes. Jolynn recalled being scared on the way to her first class, but soon realized she wasn't the youngest student. Her teachers were great, and many people seemed to be in the same place in life as she was. Her nerves rose up again when taking the first of 4 GED tests, language arts and social studies. When she left, she felt for sure she'd failed. but she was wrong. She passed, and she found her passion, numbers. She said, as the teacher taught the math equations, I started to remember how much I loved math. I caught on so quick, it was easy to comprehend and pick up. In the time learning math, I figured out what I wanted to do with my education. I wanted to get my degree in accounting. Numbers are my thing, my jam. Today, Jolynn is working on her accounting degree and is excelling in her classes, and she's mentoring students in the GED program. She said, my education was never important to me, but this was the defining part in my life of why education is so important to me now. So community, you may have recognized as our middle name, and we wouldn't exist, let alone thrive, without our excellent community partners. We are working to address food insecurity among the CCC student population. A national study done last year found that nearly 2/3 of community college students identified as being food insecure. And their college currently operates a food pantry at its Oregon City campus called the Cougar Cave, which won a national award recognizing its service to the community. This pantry relies on donations from the college community, which are sporadic and often the most needed items. As of this year, CCC is partnering with the Oregon Food Bank, allowing a sustainable flow of food items critical to meeting the needs of our most food insecure students. Additionally, this fall, the college expanded the Cougar Cave to our Harmony campus in Milwaukie, as well as our Wilsonville campus. The Oregon Food Bank partnership enables all 3 locations to be fully stocked with an accessible food resource. A recent grant funded the purchase of refrigerator freezers to supply fresh cold items to all 3 of our food banks, or Cougar Caves, as well as paid for food for the first year of our partnership with the Oregon Food Bank. Additionally, what started about 4 years ago as a class service project has now resulted in an annual gift of more than 10,000 pounds of food being donated by our Clackamas Safeway Albertsons partner before the holiday, which is quite a feat if you see all that coming in. And did Daryl Woods make it from Safeway? I think Daryl was going to come, but I'm not sure if he made it. I just want to give a shout out to that partnership for all of us that support the Cougar Cave, but also our community that really makes sure that our students are getting the food they need. I think it goes without saying, it's pretty hard to learn if you're hungry. As a community college, it's also important to open our campuses to people of all ages, including our school-age children. One place where all ages can learn about an environment is through our hands-on interactive activities that are both educational and fun at our Environmental Learning Center. Our recently restored wetland, fed by underground springs and stormwater runoff from the Oregon City campus, provides critical habitat for wildlife, water quality improvement, making it the ideal location to study wetland habitat. As the headwaters to Newell Creek, it's also the perfect venue for watershed discussions. Our Environmental Learning Center offers K-12 class field trips and day camps that enrich student learning through outdoor education. Students have opportunities to explore, interact, measure, and create within the lush outdoor surroundings of the ELC, containing both forest and wetland habitat. The variety of habitat allows us to teach about relationships and ecosystems. Some age groups learn about water quality and stormwater management. And then we offer camps during winter and summer break, along with summer camps, and give school tours all year round. For adults, our ELC offers a variety of trainings designed to support the continuing education needs of professionals working in positions connected with environmental health. Several trainings are offered each year on topics that have been determined to be in demand, with a focus on field experiences whenever possible. Recent topics including erosion and sediment control, wetland plant ID, river health assessment. We also have a new partnership with Clackamas County Water Environmental Services to provide watershed health programs to K-12 students and working professionals. Among other things, this means we're able to provide field trips and related busing experiences for free to some of our area schools. And for those of us who are kids at heart, a variety of community education classes are held at the Environmental Learning Center, such as yoga. We also offer stargazing events during the summer, weather permitting, as they always say. We are particularly proud of our partnerships with business and community agencies. And as you can see by this very busy slide, we partner with many businesses and public agencies in Clackamas County and beyond. They help us by sitting on our advisory boards, by hiring our interns, by donating equipment and expertise. They're guest speakers in our classes, They put on career fairs and come to career fairs. As I said, our tagline is education that works, and we do take that seriously. Our job here is to educate students so that they can go on into the workforce. I want to thank all of you who are business partners who help us achieve this goal. And if you don't see your business's logo up here on the slide, I'd like you to come talk with me, because we want to figure out how we can partner with you. And if you have a friend that his business's logo is on here, I want you to talk to me as well. So we'll track them down too. We are very interested in continuing to develop partnerships. I think it benefits the community in many, many ways. So some examples. Our business partners help teach our students and hire them. This example is one of my favorites. December of 2018, we were awarded a $100,000 scholarship from the band Metallica's foundation. We dedicated the funds to help currently enrolled students in our heavy metals programs of welding, automotive, and industrial technology, assisting the students with the purchase of equipment needed for their studies. At the same time, we learned that ICC Northwest, who manufactures large metal vessels, including the really massive beer tanks that you see that brew beer and wine and some of those other pieces, among many, many other types of things like that, was looking for fabricators. They had a shortage. Using funds from the Metallica Scholars Grant, our Tech Hire Grant, our federal Tech Hire Grant, workforce development, and matching funds from ICC, we created a paid training program where our students learned on site at ICC while earning a certificate from CCC. Say all those acronyms fast. To bring the story full circle, we learned last spring that ICC Northwest manufactures the tanks that happen to brew Metallica's favorite beer. So going full circle, we know that Metallica's donation allowed our students to learn fabrication skills, leading to better paying jobs, allowing ICC Northwest to make large vessels for brewing, leading to beer production and beers for the members of Metallica. Win, 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 I think, all around. So our students, you can get just a glimpse of how this impacted their earning wages. This is a 6-month training program, and students that before they started were earning about $7,000 in 6 months. They got paid while they're in the program, and then as they finished that program, were earning well over $17,000, so more than doubled their wages in that 6 months. It's a life-changing program for these students. One student was working 2 full-time jobs during one of the quarters prior to training, and we could not have done this without our Metallica Scholars, Tech Hire, WIOA, and employers' funding. I have to say, one of my favorite events this last year, I got invited out to the certificate ceremony out at ICC where we recognized all the graduates, and several of them were surprised to learn that now they'd earned a certificate from Clackamas Community College. I don't think they really fully understood what that meant. And several of them started crying, and they had family there, and we're talking about that they never ever saw themselves as college students, never ever thought that they could do the work and get that done. And, and I said, as I do at the end of graduation, that they're all members now of Clackamas Community College. They're all members of Cougar Nation, and that they're part of what we do. And you could see people just tearing up, and people came up and talked to me, and I'll never forget one guy came up and goes, is that really true? Am I really a college graduate? I said, yeah, you're really a college graduate. And he goes, man, I'm going to go buy a shirt. Like, I said, So that's why we do what we do, and it's pretty inspiring to be able to represent us in that way. So we're going into our second round of grant funding with All Within My Hands, the Metallica Foundation this year. Fully expect that we'll be successful and continue that partnership and look for other ways to make a difference in students' lives. Is James Knudsen from ICC here? James, thank you. You did all the training with those folks. And I also saw Bridget Daisy with Workforce Partnerships who helped support us with that work. Thank you, Bridget, for that. So, Chuck. Chuck was a Metallica Scholar in the college's welding program. Sought out CCC wanting his kids to have a happy and secure childhood, something he did not have. He experienced food and housing insecurity growing up as his parents struggled with addiction, and he bounced from house to house of relatives. Dropping out of school at 14, had a series of jobs. Single father of 2 children, he was struggling to find solid work that would provide for his family. He was a cook, customer service rep, carpenter, property manager, and many other things. He could never seem to make enough money to get him and his kids what they needed. On top of that, finding childcare at the same time was far too expensive. He went on welfare and lived with his sister, sharing a small bedroom with his kids. He told us, I would secretly cry in the bathroom because I was reminded of being a child, having little to nothing. I did not want my children to grow up like I did. For a long time, I just felt hopeless. I was trying to take care of my family and working so many hours, it was just too much. Chuck found CCC, became one of our Metallica scholars, one of our ICC Northwest students. Today he's got a job allowing him to be there for his children and giving him a career that's paying paying his bills and making sure that he can provide for his family. So as we look to the future, we know we have some challenges ahead. One of these ones is our budget. So I've got a few graphs I want to show and kind of explain. One of the things I try to explain anytime I meet folks is that community colleges are a counter-cyclical industry, meaning that when the economy is good like today, people go to work and our enrollment goes down. So you can see that if you can probably in the back row you can't see that our peak in 2010-11 was during the recession, and then as the economy got better, our enrollment went down. Currently now we're just about back at levels of 1996 to 1997. So we know also that when the economy starts going down, that our enrollment's going to go back up. And so we're thinking about that now, and we're preparing for that now so that we can meet the needs of our community and make sure that we're ready to go and provide the funding to make that education work again. We're starting to see some examples of it. We've felt like we've leveled off a little bit. We saw a little bit of an increase last quarter. We're down just a little bit this quarter, so we're watching that. But as that goes up again, we fully expect just that our enrollments are going to pick up. The challenge, though, for us is that so much of our budget relies on tuition. 98% of it, which I'll get into in here in a second. So we've really strived to be good stewards of our taxpayer dollars. And so as resources have declined over the past number of years, we've really worked to try to also make sure that we're affordable. You'll see on this slide that out of all the 17 community colleges in the state, we're the second lowest for tuition at $103 per credit, and the lowest in the Portland metro area. And so we're a really good value there, but the challenge is that lower tuition really comes at a cost. And it means that we don't always have the numbers that we need to provide the services for our students, the classes that our students need. Yet we have to make really hard decisions about not raising tuition too dramatically so that students can still afford us. Because tuition's, as you know, only part of it. There are textbook costs, there are other fees. There's a number of pieces that go into this and making sure that this is affordable for our students. So as I mentioned, we get our funding from primarily three sources, 98% of our funding from three sources: our state, our local taxes, and our tuition. The trend over the past 10 years is that funding from tuition and property taxes have each increased about 7%, while funding from the state has, while increasing slightly this past biennium, is still down 14% from our pre-recession levels. So if we continue to get less funding from our state, it means we need to either raise tuition, reduce programs and services in order to balance our budget. And those are the decisions we're having to talk about this year about how do we make all of that work. And this one is an overall look clear back over the last 20 years, and to give you an idea about our share sort of the state pie. Proportionally, state funding for community colleges has been decreasing for the past 20 years. If you go back, clear back to the very left side, the 2001-3 biennium, community colleges in Oregon received about 4.1% of total state revenues, equating to about $379 million. This last allocation of $641 million out of the $21.1 billion in state revenues, community colleges received a pro rata share of about 3% of state revenues. So comparison services, if we actually received 4.1 like we had 20 years ago, we would equate it to 857 as opposed to 641 that we got. So I want to be really clear. I really appreciate the legislators that supported us and really got us an increase, because the governor's budget that came out would have really decimated us this past year. It would have really, really made us have to do some drastic measures. So we were able to get more funding than we initially thought, but it still is at a level that we're having to reduce, and we're having to make some pretty harsh decisions about what we're able to offer and what we're able to do. So I thank you, but I think there's still more work to be done as we move forward into this next biennium. So we're currently considering a career technical education ask for the short session this year to help us increase the number of graduates and high demand programs, resulting in living wage jobs. We are the engines of economic growth, and when we do get into a downturn, we need to be ready to educate workers for to get us back out. And so I'm looking forward to visiting with all of our legislators that are here. Again, I thank you all for taking the time to come today and spending time in Salem and advocating for a funding package for us to be sustainable in the long run. So we did increase our funding from the state. Still not enough for us to maintain our current service level. We have continued impacts from the public employee retirement system. We had increased construction costs related to our bond projects. We have cost of living increases related to our association contracts. And we have, as I said, our declining in student enrollment. So over the next biennium, we're currently looking at a $7 million budget gap that we need to address. And the state funding formula may stay neutral. Enrollment revenue from our tuition-paying students was down 7.5% last year. More importantly, down over 14% over the last 2 fiscal years, equating to about $2 million in less revenue that we received because of this lower enrollment. In fact, the college, like many of our peer colleges across the state, has been operating at a deficit for the last 3 years, and we can't continue to use reserves to balance our budget. In addition to the budget reduction process we started this fall, we've asked the entire college community to generate ideas on how to create efficiencies, identify new revenue streams, and pinpoint areas of potential savings. So I've talked about responsive education, how we adapt to meet the community's needs. I've shared the status of our bond projects and how they're helping us meet growing and changing educational demands. And I've talked about some of our great community and business partnerships, as well as our financial challenges. And I'd like to tell you what we're going to do to address these challenges and how we're working to better serve our students. We are always working on improving how we serve students at CCC. Our student body is becoming more diverse in age, gender, race, and ability. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the umbrella under which all of our priorities sit. And our goal is simple. We want every student who comes to Clackamas to achieve their dream. The reality is that currently not all of our student populations are as successful as our others. To achieve this goal, we're developing a multi-year diversity, equity, inclusion plan for the college, informing our work around hiring and professional development of faculty and staff, support service needs, facilities planning, and program offerings. We're launching our DE plan later this winter. After many conversations with staff, faculty, and students, we've identified themes to frame our work. Those themes are to eliminate equity gaps for our students, provide more opportunities for DEI communication and training, advance DEI in our recruitment and retention of our employees, create teaching practices that support student success, and finally, we want to ensure that all of our employees have the time and space in their schedules to prioritize their work around diversity, equity, and inclusion. Very important work as we move forward. To help in this work for DEI, we've adopted the Guided Pathways framework. Guided Pathways is a national movement for community colleges. CCC is one of the first in Oregon to begin a full-scale redesign of how we align programs, offer services, and ensure our students have a seamless path for completing their goals. Colleges across the country that have adopted Guided Pathways have been proven to close equity gaps and increase graduation rates. Simply put, Guided Pathways is a student-centered approach that helps students get on a path, stay on the path, and complete the path, creating a pipeline to jobs in Clackamas County. Part of the approach is to help students identify areas of study early so they aren't wasting time and money taking courses that don't go toward their goals. When students apply to CCC, they will need to select an educational focus area, which are broad buckets of similar programs represented by the icons on the screen. Our educational focus areas are STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, natural resources, health professions, creative arts, humanities, and communication, business, teaching and education, industrial technology and automotive, social science, human services, and criminal justice. Once the students have identified an educational focus area, they'll be able to explore programs within that EFA while taking classes that count toward the degrees and certificates within the educational focus area. We aim to implement guided pathways by the year 2021. And at the end of September, we were excited to learn we were awarded a $2.2 million Strengthening Institutions grant from the U.S. Department of Education. This funding will be instrumental in the rollout of guided pathways and our diversity, equity, and inclusion work. 5-year grant will be used to hire navigators to assist students from the time they express interest in CCC through the end of their first term. And we'll invest in growing our peer assistant program, host workshops, and scale up our first-year experience courses. To lead us into the future, we also need a new strategic plan. This winter, we will start work on the creation of a 5-year strategic plan that will serve the college through the year 2025. Strategic plan will provide direction for the college, help inform what services programs we should be providing, how to more fully integrate into the community, and how to prepare ourselves for the careers of the future. This plan will help us define who we want to be and how we're going to get there, along with defining what we should be doing and what we need to stop doing. We simply cannot continue to do everything for everyone. We've got to be really clear about where we're going. This plan will serve as a reference point when we work through the budget process each year so we can align resources with what is most mission critical. But we can't and we won't do this work in a vacuum. We need input from you, our business partners, our future students, our community leaders, our community at large, our faculty and staff, and all of our other stakeholders. We need your input to help us identify key areas to focus on in both the near term and beyond 2025. Your input, expertise, understanding of the pulse of the community will help position us to respond to these emerging needs. This coming year, we'll be holding one-on-one interviews, roundtables, community forums, and other opportunities for engagement. If you're here today, I'm assuming you're already invested in the college. Thank you. You already understand the value we provide and the impact we have not only in the community, but on individuals. You've heard several student stories today that demonstrate the work that we do and how we help shape the future for our community. So I ask for your continued engagement to help us continue to evolve, grow, and serve the great community of Clackamas County. I want to close with one final student story. Meet Noah. Noah graduated from CCC with a transfer degree in 2010. He went on to earn a bachelor's degree from Portland State and his Juris Doctorate degree in law from Willamette University School of Law. Today he's an associate attorney. Noah credits CCC with giving him the tools and confidence he needed to succeed. He told us, prior to enrolling at CCC, I've been working at a gas station for 3 years with no real direction in life. Thanks to our flexible class schedules, Noah was able to attend school full-time while continuing to work. Like most of our students, Noah struggled with finding the time and money to attend college. But thanks to scholarships, evening and weekend classes, Noah was able to graduate on time with almost no debt. He said, I genuinely didn't know what I wanted to do when I started. I just knew I didn't want to pump gas the rest of my life. I started by taking the courses that fit in my schedule and counted toward my Associate of Arts Oregon transfer degree. I discovered pretty quickly I loved English courses. I can't remember the name of any of my professors from my university, but I easily remember at least 3 professors' names from CCC because they took great interest in the success and struggles of me and my fellow students. As many of you know, CCC has an impact not only for the students who attend our college, but also in the county economy and workforce. Over the years, students have studied at CCC and entered or re-entered the workforce with newly acquired skills. Today, thousands of these former students are employed in Clackamas County. The average income of someone with an associate's degree in Clackamas County is $39,300, 38% more than a person with a high school diploma. For every dollar our community spends on CCC education, our community receives a cumulative value of $11.40 in benefits for as long as students at CCC remain active in the state workforce. Altogether, the average annual added income due to the activities of CCC and its former students equals $278.7 million, approximately equal to value of 1.5% of the total Clackamas County economy. CCC is a fantastic organization, transforms lives. I'm fortunate to be leading it.